Okay, our presentation today is by Mike Stagg. We're excited to have Mike here today to talk about preventing driving distractions. There are plenty of distractions going on right now, aren't there, Mike?
Yeah, there's plenty.
Challenging time of year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and this is like you said, Jason, this is a great time of year to kind of talk about distracted driving a little bit. I mean, what's happening this week? Kids are going back to school. At least my kids are. My wife couldn't be more happy. But as we think about that, right? Kids going back to school. This is a great topic to talk about at this time of year, just because we don't want to hit any little kids, don't want to be distracted while we're driving, because those kids haven't been out on the roads and walking to school and things like that for the last few months, but now they're going back. Let's make sure that we're not distracted. So this is a huge problem. I really wanted to hit with some statistics really quick first off. So, in the last year, there were over 8,000 crashes that involved a distracted driver. Of those 8,000 crashes, about 2,900 of those involved an injury in that accident. And 43% of all driver fatalities were because of distracted driving. So when you think about that, almost half of all the fatalities that we see as far in the state of Utah are as a result of distracted driving. Just some sobering statistics, right? So now let's dive just a little bit deeper into these statistics and find out who actually is crashing when we talk about distracted driving. The who, what, where, why, and how. Okay, so the first is the who. Our younger folks, our 13 to 20-year-olds, we kind of expect that. The teenagers, they're on their phones, they got their friends in the car, they're messing with the music, they're distracted, they're just not experienced, right? So what's our excuse, right? I'm here in this 40 to 44 age range. What's my excuse, right? I'm still almost 1,000. I'm still almost in that group where we have these distracted driving crashes. So this is a pandemic of not representative really of age. What about where these crashes are happening? Okay, so we see pockets here, right? We got this pocket here along the Wasatch Front. Kind of we expect that, right? I-15 runs through here, I-80, the big freeways, lots of population. But then we got these other pockets, right? You got a pocket out in Vernal, pocket down in Price, pocket in Moab, Cedar City, St. George. Okay, what's really interesting also on this where is, Salt Lake City, 256 distracted driving crashes. Number 2, St. George, 211. Okay. Sandy, 208. So over 200 crashes in these big metropolitan areas. So just some things to think about. And what about the posted speed limit as when distracted driving happens? So 70 miles an hour is the vast majority of where those distracted driving crashes are happening. So we're thinking freeways, right? Freeway I-15 here in the Salt Lake Valley, 70 miles per hour is your speed limit. And so that's where a lot of those distracted driving crashes are happening. Think how fast you can go in 70, when you're driving 70 miles an hour, and then how far your vehicle actually travels if you're distracted. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit. All right, what about when, right? Month of the year, where are we right now? We're in August. We're coming up on September. As we look at this distracted driving by month graph, though, we see that September is the highest point for when we see distracted driving crashes. Okay, so now is a good time to talk about this. Weather conditions. Okay, weather conditions, clear skies. Okay, not when it's cloudy, not when it's raining, not when it's snowing, but when it's clear. And why do you think we're distracted? Why do you think we have distracted driving crashes when it's clear? When we have those perfect driving conditions, right? I think that's because we get complacent, right? We think, oh, you know what? I don't have to worry about I don't have to worry about the roadways or the sun or the rain or the weather. This can I can look at my phone. It's okay. I can change the radio station. It's okay. All right. What about time of day? Our biggest peak time of day, 5 p.m. Okay, we're coming home from work. Now it's our time. Now it's our personal time. We've been working all day, and now we're trying to figure out what the rest of our night's going to look like. Who's taking the kids to football practice? Who's taking the kids to dance? Who's picking up dinner? What are we having for dinner? What are we going to do with the rest of our evening? Or I've got a bunch of emails and text messages, or I got to check my fantasy football lineup and see if everything's going okay. Am I going to win this week? We've got now our personal time. And so when we're driving home, we get distracted. Okay. What about why? Let's look at the why. Why are we distracted when we're driving? About half, 50%, about half is cell phones, right? Other outside distractions are 17% of those distracted driving crashes, 8% food and drink, passengers and audio. Okay, they round this out, but the vast majority is cell phones. Okay. And then the contributing circumstances to why we crash. Number one is following too closely. Okay. We're following too close to that car in front of us. Okay. That's the number one contributing circumstance to a distracted driving crash. Cell phones, being on your phone, and then following too closely. Now, when we look at the how are we actually crashing? Okay. Again, the vast majority, front to rear, a front to rear collision. You rear end the car in front of you. And then what about the vehicle maneuver, right? Are you stopped in traffic? Are you at a stop sign? Are you driving straight ahead? Are you rounding a curve? How is it? Well, the vast majority, as it says here, straight ahead. Okay. So it's when we're distracted, we're driving, we're usually driving straight ahead. It's clear skies, perfect driving conditions, and we have a rear end crash. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to look at ways we can eliminate those distractions, because it only takes one time. It only takes one time that you're looking at your phone to send a text message, or reading a text message, or changing the radio station, or arguing with the kids in the back. Okay. It only takes one time. It's not worth it. It's not worth picking up the phone. It's not worth getting in the crash and potentially ending your life, ending somebody else's life, or severely altering somebody's life to the point where they can't no longer do something that they love or want to do. So what can distract us while driving? You know, there's a lot of things that can distract us while driving. Eating, drinking, grooming, radio, phones, kids, coworkers, passengers. Okay, the scenery. Okay, we live in a state that's gorgeous. And that's something that we've got to be aware of, is that looking outside at the scenery around us can be very, very distracting. Okay. We might think we're saving us a couple of minutes by multitasking in the car this morning, by eating our Egg McMuffin on the way to work, but we're taking our eyes off the road. We're taking our complete focus off of what we should be doing. Okay. I was driving one time. I'm coming home from doing a defensive driving seminar, and I'm driving home, and I look over at the car next to me at this car that had been swerving all around the road, you know, in and out of their lane. Look over, and this guy's he's driving. He's got a book taped to his steering wheel. Okay, he's reading a book while he's driving. I mean, there are so many things that can distract us while we're driving. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to try and eliminate those distractions. What does that mean when we say eliminate distractions? It means put them away, right? If you've got a phone, put it away. Put it in the glove box, the center console. Don't put it in your pocket or under your leg or on the seat next to you or in the cup holder. Put it away. Get it out of your sight. Eliminate those distractions. Radio. Okay, set your radio. Set the podcast, whatever. Set your phone, set your navigation to what you need to do before you take that car out of park and put it into reverse, or put it into drive, or take it out of neutral to put it into gear. Make sure you set those things. Now, I realize we use our phones for these things, right? You use your phone for navigation and for your music and things like that. Okay, we're not saying don't do that. What we're saying is make sure you get those things set so you eliminate those distractions before you get on the road. Okay. Things like conversations. I mean, it's fine to converse and have a conversation in the car, right? But eliminate the distraction, meaning those heated arguments, the heated conversations, the ones that make you take your eyes off the road. Okay, eliminate those kind of distractions so that you don't have anything taking your attention away from the task at hand. Other distractions that we want to eliminate. Eating in the car, your kids, your coworkers, okay, reaching for things, grabbing things off the, like your sunglasses, whatever it is. Get those things set again before you put the car in motion. Okay. Eating and drinking, we advise you should be eating in the car. Okay. Maybe you have a snack, maybe you have sunflower seeds, chewing gum, whatever. Okay. But avoid messy items, things that might spill, things that might get all over, things that are going to distract you from actually driving and getting to where you need to get safely. Okay. Let's talk about phones here for a minute. Okay. Phones is a gigantic distraction for us. Okay. We saw those statistics earlier. About 50% of all distracted driving related crashes are because someone was on their cell phone. Okay. When you're driving, okay, answering a phone call, okay, talking on the phone, even if it's through a hands-free device, even through your Bluetooth in your car, your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, okay, even through those devices, you increase your risk of getting in a crash by 4 times just by talking on the phone. Okay. Now, what about a text message? Looking at a text message, just that 5 seconds it takes to look down to say, where are you? What do you want for dinner tonight? Or sending it, okay. Or I'll be home soon. Doing that kind of action increases your risk of being in a crash by 6 times. It's like having a blood alcohol content of 0.16. Now, what's the legal limit for blood alcohol content here in the state? Right? It's 0.05. So sending that one text message, okay, sending that one emoji, whatever it is going to increase your risk of getting in a wreck by 6 times. It's like having a blood alcohol content of 0.16, 3 times the legal limit. Okay. Sending or receiving that text, again, takes your eyes off the road for about 5 seconds. If you're going 70 miles an hour, how far do you travel in 5 seconds? You travel a long ways in 5 seconds. Okay. About 2 or 3 football fields you travel. Okay. That is a long, long way that you're traveling without looking at the road and looking and seeing what's going on in front of you. So phones are a huge, huge distraction that we've got to get away from. Because when we drive distracted, there's a definite lack of awareness of things that are going on around us. All right. If we're in the middle lane and there's somebody next to us in the left lane, and this person decides, hey, I need to get over because I need to get off the exit. Okay. And they want to cut across 3 or 4 lanes of traffic to do so. Okay. We've all seen that. If you've driven in Salt Lake County at all, you've seen this person on the road next to you. Okay. If you're looking at your phone or you're not paying attention or you're taking a bite out of a sandwich and you have now stuff dripping down on you, you're like, oh no, I got something on my shirt. Okay. And you take your eyes off the road and that person decides to cut over in front of you because they didn't plan well enough. How fast are you going to be able to react to that? Okay. You're not going to be able to because you're not ready for it. Okay. That's what we call inattention blindness, not being ready for what's coming, Okay. Having problems staying in your lane. Okay. We've seen those people. As we're driving along, we see those people, going in and out of their lane, in and out. And when we pass that person, what do you inevitably notice? They're probably looking at their cell phone, probably doing something on their phone, having a conversation, yelling at the kids in the back seat, whatever it is. Okay. So let's avoid these things. What can we do to avoid driving distracted? Okay. I think the first thing is to admit it. Admit that we can be distracted. Admit that these things distract us. Admit that we aren't perfect, right? Even though I've sent 100,000 text messages in my lifetime, okay? Sending that one text, that distracts me, okay? The one time that I do it, something could happen that's going to severely alter my life or somebody else's. So admit that you could be distracted. Identify any problem areas that you might have. Okay, if you've got a problem with driving and texting, or you have a problem with constantly switching the radio station, okay, identify that problem area. If you know that you like about 50% of this podcast that you listen to every single time you listen to it, you only listen to about half of it. Okay. Make that call that I'm not going to listen to that podcast while I drive. Okay, because I know I'm going to have to change it. Okay, remove those temptations. And the biggest thing I think we can do to avoid driving distracted is to plan. Okay, we have to plan ahead. You have to plan your routes. You have to plan ahead by setting your applications, your music, your navigation before you leave. Make sure you give yourself enough time to get to where you need to go. Make sure you plan enough time in the morning or in the afternoon so you don't have to get ready in the car. So you don't have to do your makeup or brush your hair. See, I don't have to brush my hair. Or you don't have to brush your teeth or eat your breakfast. Okay, make sure you plan ahead so you get those things done so you're not driving distracted. Okay, take that personal responsibility that says, I will not drive distracted. I will not have my cell phone out. I will not let anything take my eyes off the road and the task at hand while I'm out operating my motor vehicle. Ask yourself questions like, what could distract me? Is this risky when I grab my phone? Is this a risky thing that I'm doing? What's the priority here? Is the priority here to answer that text message or to make sure that I know that school's back in session this week? I don't want to be looking at my phone or taking a bite out of my Egg McMuffin while I'm driving by the school zone. Okay, so I know that these kids aren't going to run out in front of me. What's my priority when I'm driving? Is this going to be a risky thing? And what about passengers? Hey, we get questions all the time here at the Trust about, should we allow passengers to ride in city vehicles? Should we allow family members or things like that, to be riding in city vehicles to conferences and this, that, or the other thing? Can passengers be distractions? Yes, absolutely. Right? As a passenger, if you have a family member as a passenger, you're more likely to be distracted than if you're driving with a coworker. Hey, because a family member tends to be a backseat driver. Okay, don't be that backseat driver if you're a passenger. Okay, don't be that person who's taking the driver's attention away from the road. There are studies that have shown that folks who are backseat drivers cause undue anxiety for their drivers. Okay, it actually causes their drivers to become distracted because now they're worried about, what is my backseat driver going to say? Okay, so don't be a backseat driver. Don't be on your phone as a passenger. Now you may think, why can't I be on my phone if I'm a passenger? That's okay. I'm not driving. I'm not in operation of this motor vehicle. But could you be a distraction for your driver? Absolutely. If you're watching a movie, can that be a distraction? Yeah. If you're playing a game, can that be a distraction? If you're having a loud conversation, if you're going through your Instagram feed or looking at TikTok or whatever it is, and you're laughing and carrying on, is that driver going to be, hey, what are you looking at over there? Okay. They might be. So don't be on your phone when you're a passenger. Don't be an unwanted DJ. Now the unwanted DJ, the driver sets their music, something they want to listen to. You're the passenger. You look over, I don't like this song. You start changing the channel. What does that do for that driver? That driver says, hey, you're going to change my music. Now you're distracting the driver by changing the music. Don't be the unwanted DJ. Now, maybe you can be the wanted DJ though. That's okay. The driver may ask you to change the station. The driver may ask you to find something else to listen to. Okay, then it's probably okay. But don't be that unwanted DJ. Don't be the person who's turning up or turning down the music to distract the driver from what they're doing. What you should be as the passenger though, you should be the navigator. Okay, help navigate. Help your driver know where to go. You should be the one telling them, make sure you turn here, slow down, stop, whatever it is. Make sure you're the navigator telling them where to go. Be the phone operator, not the car operator, but the phone operator, okay? Maybe you can answer the phone for your driver. Maybe you can answer that text message. Or better yet, maybe you can be the operator that says, hey, make sure your phone's on silent. Put your phone away. You can be the coach, right? Be the coach. Help your driver. Help them stay not distracted while they're driving. And last, be the referee, right? What does that mean by be the referee? Any of you who are a parent, you know what that means, right? You be the referee, right? If the kids are in the back seat and they're arguing or fighting or doing whatever, okay, the passenger should take care of that. so that the driver isn't distracted. If you're in a group and you're in a work vehicle and you're traveling to a job site, okay, you're gonna go work on that pothole. Okay, you're gonna go mow those lawns at the park, whatever it is. You got 2 or 3 or 4 folks in the car. Whoever the passenger is, that's the person that's the referee, right? Keep the conversations down to a minimum. Keep the voice and the volumes down, so your driver can stay focused on the task at hand and what's going on. So really, just in summary, I think the biggest thing we can do here is to realize that these distractions aren't worth the risk, right? Make sure we plan ahead and focus on what the priority is. Remember what's important. This time of year, we got kids, they're going back to school. We've got things that are happening that can distract us. Don't be focused on those distractions. Focus on what the priority is, and that's getting to where you need to get safely. Okay.
All right, folks, if you got questions or comments, please type those into the chat box, and we'd love to hear about those. All right. So we had some comments on there. Linda said 0.16. That's scary.
Yeah.
And also she said need to add animals to the list of distractions. Lady,
absolutely. Yeah. Animals, dogs riding in the car, right? How many of us, like my dad the other day, right, came and picked me up at my house. My dad's got his little Shih Tzu sitting in his lap. I was like, Dad, what is Gracie doing in your lap? Get her in the back seat where she goes. She's got a little car seat back there. And he's like, well, she wanted to sit up here. It's like, come on, Dad. I mean, great point, Linda, about animals.
Absolutely. Whatever the distraction is, that's the challenge, whether it's the dog or the kid or the drink. And it's easy to focus on phones, but we see a lot of claims come in that I was reaching for my clipboard and I looked away from the road and I ran into a car on the side of the road or rear-ended somebody that time, or I dropped an apple or something like that can be distractions as well. Well, thanks for the comments there, Linda. It looks like that's what we've got for questions and comments today. Any final words?
Nope. I think that we just remember what time of year it is. Don't be distracted while you're driving anytime, but now is really, really important as the kids are going back to school.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate that, those important words, and encourage everybody to share this message with those that you've got out there. Reminder, we'll be back in about a half hour to talk about facility security. So if you haven't signed up for that, go to utahtrust.gov and click on training and events and sign up there. And if that doesn't work, we did have some server issues this morning. Send me an email to jason@utahtrust.gov and we'll get you a hot link to get into there if the sign up doesn't work. All right. Thanks, folks.
Thanks, everyone.